Hey everyone, this is Turd Flinging Monkey. Welcome to part 2 of the Zen of Zero Fucks Given. This is going to be a follow-up video of part 1, The Meaning of Life. Now a lot of the comments and questions I'm going to be covering in future videos, so I'm not going to be answering those now. But there were two kinds of comments that I saw a lot of. One of them was asking about the difference between meaning and purpose. And I'm going to specifically address a comment saying, quote, "How would a person who has attached their life's meaning to something else reframe their mind? An actionable process would be great for the next video." So firstly, let's talk about the difference between meaning and purpose. They are related, but they're not synonymous. So originally I was going to reuse my art example, but I actually think I have a better example to use. So let's say you're overweight, and you want to get healthy. You want to lose weight, you want to increase your physical strength. So that's the goal. So we start with a goal. I want to lose weight, I want to increase my physical strength. So we have our goal. Now we peel back a layer and we ask why. Why do we want to lose weight and increase our physical strength? And here's where things can fork, because people can have different motives. So underneath the goal is the motive. It can be internally focused, it could be externally focused. And for this particular example, one person may want to lose weight and increase their physical strength because they're tired of being made fun of. They are tired of being called the fat kid. They want girls to find them attractive. They want people to like them. They want to be conventionally attractive. This would be an example of an external motivation. Now, an internal motivation might be to not feel pain when you're walking around, to just feel better about yourself, to feel healthier, to see your own dick while you pee. Lots of little things about being morbidly obese make life very hard. Now, if you scratch the surface of the motive, you get to the meaning. So you start with the goal. Underneath the goal, you have the motive. Underneath the motive, you have the meaning. It's the why underneath the why. So the goal is something you want to do. The motive is why you want to do it. And the meaning is the why behind the why. So, for example, our externally motivated person, their meaning is motivated by loneliness, the desire to form relationships. So their meaning is relationships. If you want to summarize it into one word, they want to enhance their relationships with others. Now, in our internally motivated example, the person who wants to actually get healthy so they can live a better life and have better satisfaction just with their daily activities, their meaning is self-improvement. I can give you all kinds of thought exercises, like if you won the lottery and you didn't have to work another day in your life, you could do anything you wanted, what would you do? Not where would you go on vacation, but actually what would you do for the rest of your life to stay busy? What would you do that you would consider meaningful? Would you write books? Would you travel the world? Those kinds of thought exercises can give you some insight into the meaning behind your motivations, but ultimately it's something you have to think about. Meanings fall in two categories. They're either externally motivated or they're internally motivated. And externally motivated meanings ultimately come down to relationships. And internally motivated meanings ultimately come down to self-improvement. Now personally, I think the road to self-improvement is a much harder road. It's a road much less traveled. You can find relationships. This is how women define themselves. They define themselves through their relationships. Think about, what does the average woman accomplish? How does she reach her full potential? She probably doesn't. She just shits out a few kids and calls it a day. She defines her meaning through the relationships with her children, or her baby's daddy, or whatever. That's like the default program for women. But I think men are more driven by default to seek self-improvement, as opposed to defining their meaning through relationships. Now, if you do define meaning through relationships, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm not saying you're not a man, but that is exactly how you're manipulated. If you're in a family that's pressuring you to get married or something like that, and you don't want to disappoint your family, and you don't want to be ostracized from your family, and you feel yourself being manipulated by your relatives and women and all stuff like that, it's precisely because you define your meaning through relationships. I don't think it's possible to reach the zero fucks given pinnacle as long as you define your meaning through relationships. You have to let go of defining your meaning through relationships, and you have to reorient yourself to find your meaning in self-improvement. Now, you may not believe that self-improvement is an adequate replacement for relationships. If you can't reorient yourself though, I don't know if you'll ever make it. I don't know if you could actually cut yourself off and truly not give a shit about what people think and say if you define your meaning through relationships with those people. Because then losing those people hurts your meaning. It actually tangibly takes away from the purpose and meaning of your life. Whereas if your meaning is based on self-improvement, who fucking cares? If you're not contributing something worthwhile to my life, if you're just trying to use me and manipulate me, fuck you. I don't care if we're related. I don't care how hot you are. Get the fuck out of here. You're not worth my time. It's worth noting that those who are internally motivated, who actually seek self-improvement rather than externally motivated, trying to please and form relationships with others, tend to do better in the long term. To return to our original example regarding weight loss, those who are trying to get ready for bikini season, or trying to appeal to this girl or whatever, they're losing weight to try to be attractive for a person, not for their own sake, but for someone else. They almost always gain the weight back. Whereas those who seek self-improvement, who want to improve their lives for their sake, not for anyone else's, they are far more likely to stay healthy, to lose the weight for life, to form lifelong good habits, and actually get in shape and improve their life. And if you define yourself by relationships, people are going to take advantage of you. That's your weakness. And as I explained in my video about the tyranny of the weak, the only way to become immune to people's manipulation is through indifference. When you just don't give a shit. Their crocodile tears and emotional manipulation just no longer affects you. And you can see what people are doing, you can see the games they're playing, as clear as day. It's like, have you ever been in a relationship and your friends were warning you about the girl you were dating, telling you about all these things, and you just couldn't believe them because you had those rose-colored glasses on, you were in love or whatever. You didn't believe your buddies. And then once the relationship was over and your buddies were right, then when you look back on the relationship, you saw all the warning signs, but you just ignored them. When you define your meaning through relationships as opposed to self-improvement, you're going to have those rose-colored glasses with anybody that you value the relationship with. Because that relationship is what gives you meaning. And if you can reorient your meaning towards self-improvement, self-actualization, then you're going to see what's going on, just like your buddies could see through your girlfriend, but you couldn't. You'll be able to see that as well. You'll be able to see what they could see. And what you'll ultimately find is the vast majority of relationships, they're not worth it. Because if your focus is on yourself, your own self-improvement and self-actualization, you only will value relationships that benefit you. Now obviously value is subjective, so what little you may be getting may be very valuable to you. But if you're going through the motions to maintaining a relationship simply because you don't want to be alone, then you're setting yourself up to be manipulated. Those people are going to know exactly which buttons to push to get you to give in to their demands and do whatever they want you to do. And if you're living your life for others, you're never going to find time for yourself. But at the end of the day, I don't have a magic formula that will help you reorient your meaning, that will help you look inward rather than outward, that will help you define yourself through self-improvement and self-actualization rather than frivolous relationships. For me, a lot of it had to do with just being hurt a lot. I realized how much relationships were sapping my time and energy, how little I was gaining from them, and they just weren't worth it anymore. Maybe you just have to feel more pain. Maybe you just have to go through more experiences, I don't know. Maybe you have to hit your rock bottom. If you're not finding the meaning in your current life, then make a change. Do it now. What are you waiting for?
No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it!
So this concludes part 2. In part 3, we'll be moving on to the next subject, which is perspective. I hope to see you all there. This is Turd Flinging Monkey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.